Hey everybody, I'm Charlie Miller, and you're listening to the Field Guide for Following Jesus podcast, the show that looks at practical and actionable ideas for people who are trying to follow Jesus in their spiritual journey. Today, we're looking at one way we can get closer to God by practicing gratitude. In today's episode, we'll explore the idea of making a list of things you are thankful to God for providing or giving you. This idea comes from my book, Why Does God Feel So Distant? 50 Practical Ways to Get Closer to God. Being thankful is essential to our longing for God. When we recognize and remember what He has done for us in the past, it's easier to see Him at work in the present and have hope for what He might do in the future. I remember a time when I was going through a tough situation and felt like God was really distant from me. I decided to start a gratitude journal, and every day I would write down at least 3 things I was thankful for. At first, it was hard to think of things, but as I continued the practice, I began to see God's hand in my life more clearly. It helped me shift my focus from my problems to God's goodness. Here are some actionable tips for starting your own gratitude list. First, choose a format that works for you, whether it's a physical notebook, a journal, or a digital note-taking app. Second, set aside a specific time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for and add to your list. Third, be specific in your entries, as this helps you connect more deeply with the blessings in your life. And fourth, review your list regularly, especially when you're feeling distant from God, to remind yourself of His faithfulness. One potential challenge you might face is remembering to keep up with the practice. To overcome this, try setting a daily reminder on your phone or keeping your gratitude journal in a visible location. This is our first episode, and we'd love to hear from you. As you start implementing the idea of keeping a gratitude list, we encourage you to share your experiences with us. Your stories, insights, and lessons learned can be a great encouragement to others in our community who are also seeking to grow closer to God. If you have a success, a challenge you overcame, or just want to share how this practice has impacted your spiritual life, we want to hear from you. You can reach out to us in several ways. First, you could leave a comment on the podcast episode page on our website, jesusfieldguide.com. You could send us an email at feedback@jesusfieldguide.com. You could connect with us on social media. You can find us on facebook.com/jesusfieldguide. We'll be featuring some of your feedback in future episodes, so don't hesitate to get in touch. Your story might be just what someone else needs to hear to take that next step in their spiritual journey. Remember, we're all in this together, learning and growing as a community. By sharing our experiences, we can support and encourage one another as we strive to follow Jesus more closely. Here are a couple of reflection questions to consider as you start your gratitude list. What are some easily overlooked blessings in your life that you can be thankful for? How can the practice of gratitude help you to grow closer to God? I've also created a downloadable gratitude journal template that you can use to get started. You can find the link to download this resource in the show notes at jesusfieldguide.com. Next week, we'll be exploring a helpful way to approach God's Word to make it more meaningful to our lives. This idea comes from another book in the Field Guide series, so be sure to tune in for more practical spiritual growth tips. Thanks for tuning in to the Field Guide for Following Jesus podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please consider sharing it with a friend who might also benefit from it. For more resources and to connect with me further, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/JesusFieldGuide and on our website at jesusfieldguide.com. Until next time, may God bless you as you continue on your spiritual journey.